The trial against former Grand Rapids police officer Christopher Schurr is now in the hands of the jury. Closing arguments today following a week of testimony. Those closing arguments just wrapping up.
Yeah, the former officer is facing a possible life sentence after shooting and killing Patrick Lyoya in the back of the head during a traffic stop.
Then Officer Schurr shot and killed Lyoya in April 2022. He was charged with second-degree murder 2 months later. Schurr's appeal then denied by the Michigan Supreme Court in December 2024, and that led us to this trial.
And while the prosecutor says it is clear Lyoya was just trying to get away during the incident, the defense argues Schurr thought he might lose his life that day.
7 News Detroit reporter Whitney Burney joins us now live in studio. And Whitney, you've been following this trial and listening closely to those closing arguments.
Yeah, Simon and Glenda, in total, the defense called 12 witnesses and the prosecution calling up 11, both painting very different pictures of what happened that April morning in 2022. And now it's on the jury to decide what happens next. After days of hearing from forensic experts, officers, and witnesses, the jury in the trial of former Grand Rapids police officer Christopher Schurr now have a decision to make, justified or not.
I'm not going to sit here and argue Patrick was a saint. He was drunk driving. He was resisting. He was driving without a driver's license. None of those are executable offenses.
In closing Monday, Kent County Prosecutor Chris Becker maintaining that the death of Lyoya came by way of a series of poor decisions made by then Officer Schurr.
There's no intent to harm. There's no assault going on here. He's trying to get away. You don't get to shoot somebody because they're trying to get away. That's not a justification. That's not an excuse.
Both sides focusing heavily on a taser throughout the trial as the officer and Lyoya struggled over it during the stop. The prosecutor asserting there could be no reasonable fear because both taser cartridges had already been fired before Lyoya was shot.
The officer's yelling at him to drop the taser. Let go of the taser. And then the fight is on. They both want the taser. That's what they're fighting over. And Officer Schurr has a right to it, and Patrick Lyoya does not.
Defense attorney Matthew Bergala says the taser still posed a threat to his client, who believed if he didn't fire at that moment, he could have been incapacitated by Lyoya and killed.
In the split second that Chris had to decide whether or not he poses an imminent threat, all he knows is he's fighting to retain control. He knows he's lost the taser. He knows that he's turning and rising. His fear is unreasonable? No reasonable officer could think that.
Now from here, it's just a waiting game, and I can't imagine this will be a quick decision for that jury. This was a highly publicized case, swirled lots of emotion locally in Grand Rapids, which is something I covered during my time there. And with more than 20 witnesses, there's a lot to consider. Simon, Glenda.